Blackstone Audio presents The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, translated by Carlyle Oakey Wicksteed. Inferno. Notes on Dante's Hell. The arrangement of the sins in Dante's Hell has been the subject of protracted and sometimes heated controversy. The reader who wishes to know something of the different views that have been taken and the arguments brought to their support may consult Dr. Vitter's essay on The Ethical Systems of the Inferno and the Purgatory, together with the appendix in the English translation. The present note simply aims at stating the view which seems to the writer the most satisfactory. All three portions of the poem are built upon the number scheme of 3, 7, 9, 10. The primary division into 3 being raised by subdivision to 7, then by 2 somewhat unlike additions to 9, and lastly by a member of a markedly different kind to 10. This scheme is carried out in all the 3 cantiche, though it is not so clearly and symmetrically developed in the Inferno as in the other 2. In Dante's Hell, the primary division of reprehensible actions into 3 classes is based upon Aristotle, but some ambiguity is introduced by the adoption, in the first instance, of a nomenclature for a portion of the subject matter derived from Cicero. The Aristotelian division is into 1. Incontinence, which includes all wrong action due to the inadequate control of natural appetites or desires; 2. Brutishness or bestiality, which is characteristic of morbid states in which what is naturally repulsive becomes attractive; and 3. Malice or vice, which consists of those evil actions which involve the abuse of the specifically human attribute of reason. Aristotle distinctly asserts that brutishness is a different kind of thing from vice or malice, but owing to a very natural misunderstanding of the Greek text, the Latin translators, followed by the schoolmen, understood him to say that brutishness was another kind of malice, so that to them malice became a generic term including brutish malice and malice proper. Hence, when Cicero declares that all injurious conduct acts either by violence or by fraud, it was easy to identify his injuriousness with Aristotle's supposed generic malice, his violence with Aristotle's brutish malice, and his fraud with Aristotle's malice proper or specific malice. The primary division then yields 1. Incontinence, 2. Violence or brutishness, 3. Fraud or malice. By subdivision of the first of these categories into 4, and the last into 2, we obtain the total of 7. Add to these unbelief, heathen and unbaptized, and misbelief, heretics, as standing outside the Aristotelian classification, but demanding a place in hell as conceived by the medieval Catholic, and we have the 9 circles of hell. Add again the circle outside the river of Acheron, where are the trimmers, rejected alike by heaven and hell, and we then have a 10-fold division, 9 plus 1, corresponding to those of purgatory and paradise. There is, however, a further subdivision peculiar to the Inferno. For the last 3 circles, 7, 8, 9 are subdivided respectively into 3, 10, and 4 divisions, so that the locally distinct abiding places of unblessed souls mount in all to 24. Canto 1. Dante finds himself astray in a dark wood, where he spends a night of great misery. He says that death is hardly more bitter than it is to recall what he suffered there, but that he will tell the fearful things he saw, in order that he may also tell how he found guidance, and first began to discern the real causes of all misery. He comes to a hill, and seeing its summit already bright with the rays of the sun, he begins to ascend it. The way to it looks quite deserted. He is met by a beautiful leopard, which keeps distracting his attention from the hill, and makes him turn back several times. The hour of the morning, the season, and the gay outward aspect of that animal give him good hopes at first, but he is driven down and terrified by a lion and a she-wolf. Virgil comes to his aid, and tells him that the wolf lets none pass her way, but entangles and slays every one that tries to get up the mountain by the road on which she stands. He says a time will come when a swift and strong greyhound shall clear the earth of her, and chase her into hell. And he offers to conduct Dante by another road, to show him the eternal roots of misery and of joy, and leave him with a higher guide that will lead him up to heaven. In the middle of the journey of our life, I came to myself in a dark wood, where the straight way was lost. Ah, how hard a thing it is to tell what a wild and rough and stubborn wood this was, which in my thought renews the fear. So bitter is it that scarcely more is death. But to treat of the good that I there found, I will relate the other things that I discerned. I cannot rightly tell how I entered it, so full of sleep was I about the moment that I left the true way. But after I had reached the foot of a hill there, where that valley ended, which had pierced my heart with fear, I looked up and saw its shoulders already closed with the rays of the planet that leads men straight on every road. Then the fear was somewhat calmed, which had continued in the lake of my heart the night that I passed so piteously. And as he who with panting breath has escaped from the deep sea to the shore turns to the dangerous water and gazes, so my mind, which was still fleeing, turned back to see the past that no one ever left alive. After I had rested my weary body a short while, I took the way again along the desert strand, so that the right foot always was the lower. And behold, almost at the commencement of the steep, a leopard, light and very nimble, which was covered with spotted hair. And it went not from before my face, nay, so impeded my way that I had often turned to go back. The time was at the beginning of the morning, and the sun was mounting up with those stars which were with him when divine love first moved those fair things, so that the hour of time and the sweet season caused me to have good hope of that animal with the gay skin. Yet not so, but that I feared at the sight which appeared to me of a lion. He seemed coming upon me with head erect and furious hunger, so that the air seemed to have fear thereat, and a she-wolf that looked full of all cravings in her leanness, and has ere now made many live in sorrow.